Hey there, four-wheel camper owners. In this video, we're going to cover Project M topper wiring and power components. All Project M's come pre-wired for power and solar. And nothing in here is going to function unless you have it connected to some kind of power source. So you have a couple options. You can get a lithium power solution directly from us so that when you pick up your camper, everything's ready to go. Or we've designed it to be DIY friendly so that you can hook up your own power solution. The main thing to take away from this video is that any power solution that you hook up to the camper must be a 12-volt DC connection. That's what the camper runs on. It cannot be plugged into an AC power source. First, let's talk about the system components. Every Project M comes pre-wired for power. So located in the rear driver's side of the camper, you're going to find the fuse block and all of the wires. And in this particular camper, we have the lithium power solution, which also includes the DC-DC charger with solar controller. For campers made pre-2024, the wiring is going to be a little bit different. So they'll still terminate back here at the rear driver's side corner, but it's going to be bundled down here at the bottom. So you're going to have your 8-gauge solar pre-wire still. Then you're going to have the following 16-gauge wires. You're going to have a yellow and black for your roof. You're going to have a green and black for your floods, and you're going to have a purple and black for your third brake light, which will be connected at installation. The next component is the fuse block. In campers built 2024 or newer, the fuse block is going to be included. You're going to have the connection for your roof as well as for the floodlights. And the floodlights will come pre-wired whether or not you get them from us. And they're correctly fused with 15 amps for the floodlights and 7.5 amps for the roof, which includes the lights as well as the fans. In campers older than 2024, there will not be a fuse panel, so you'll have to add your own fuse panel. You'll want to make sure that there's space for adequately sized fuses, as well as a ground bus bar. All right, so now let's talk overall system requirements. Number one has to be a 12-volt DC power source, not an AC power source. The next thing is that you're going to want to find a power solution that has a minimum of a 25 amp output. And that's to be able to run the max camper output, plus anything else you're going to be charging, plugging in a refrigerator. And so those are all things you want to consider when you're thinking about what power solution is right for you. So let's talk a little bit about the four-wheel camper power solution. When you order this from us, the camper comes ready to go at time of delivery. So that's going to include truck charging, it's going to be solar ready with an MPPT controller, and then it's also going to have the ability to charge at home before you leave on a trip. And so this is going to have a 132 amp hour lithium battery. You're going to have 12 volt and USB outputs, as well as your DC-DC, which again is your truck charger as well as your solar controller. This is all a nice little system. Oh yeah, and it also does include an inverter so that you can have an AC power source. The next thing to talk about is if you want to do it a little bit more DIY. So there are power stations that you can buy directly off the shelf. Again, you want to look for that 25 amp output, the minimum 25 amp output. It's a little bit hard to find, but that's just going to make sure that you're covering all of your power needs. And then if you want to go a little bit deeper and do a little bit more DIY, you can hook up a battery with your own controller and your own, paneling and get that system going. And so that requires a little bit more work, a little bit more expertise, but it is possible to do. So you have 3 power options: the four-wheel camper's lithium power solution, an off-the-shelf power station, which then you hook up and make sure it's all the system requirements are aligned with what the camper needs and your power needs, or DIY, build it yourself. In every Project M, in addition to the power pre-wire, you're also going to get solar pre-wire. So that's going to include an MC4 connector on the roof, as well as a rear SAE plug for portable solar. Now combined, the system can only handle 25 amps. And so the roof can handle 25, the SAE can handle 10, but combined total, you can only have 25. So that's an important thing to know. In campers older than 2024, you're going to have an SAE plug on the roof, and that has the limit of 10 amps. And so just keep that in mind when you're doing your own solar on an older camper. For the SAE plug, regardless if it's on the rear of the camper or on the roof, you're gonna wanna check polarity against whatever panel you're plugging into it. And so each camper does come with a SAE adapter, and it'll be labeled positive and negative on here, and you'll just wanna make sure that that is in line with the solar panel that you are using. One other thing to be sure of is that whatever power system you have, that it includes a solar controller. So some might have it built in, and then others, you may need a separate standalone MPPT solar controller in order to manage the solar power coming in. The intent of this video is to give you an understanding of the Project M power system and not instructions as to how to hook up your own power. Any DIY modifications are not covered under warranty. We hope you have fun out there, and we'll see you down the trail.